Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Rich Rushton. I will be the moderator for our XenMobile webinar today. And on behalf of Layer 8, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to see what's new with Citrix XenMobile. And hopefully, if you are familiar with XenMobile, you'll learn about some of the new features. And if you're brand new to XenMobile, hopefully you'll learn about some of the features and why you would want to deploy XenMobile. Our presenter today is going to be Delana Hurst. She's a Citrix certified instructor, and I'll do a more proper introduction in just a couple of minutes. We are going to, of course, focus on XenMobile, and it's going to be a technical webinar. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of who Layer 8 Training is and what we do. As you can see from the slide that's up right now, we are the largest Citrix training partner in North America. We have 5 trainers on staff. Lena is one of those awesome instructors that we have. And we have the largest schedule of Citrix classes in North America. I'm sure we've trained some of you that are on the webinar right now. If we haven't trained you, we look forward to working with you in the future. We were also the first to offer XenMobile training. In addition to Citrix training, we also do training for other vendors, and we can pretty much source any training that you need. We would really appreciate the opportunity to work with you in the future for all of your IT training needs. Okay, and then I wanted to mention this in case some of you have to drop off early. We like to do a special promotion for webinar attendees. We have a current promotion for our Citrix classes that if you take any 5-day Citrix class, you get a gift valued at $500. For webinar attendees, we're going to bump that up to a gift valued at $750. The only caveat is you would have to purchase the training before October 31st. And if you don't know what class you want to take yet, that's fine because you have 6 months to schedule the training after the date of purchase. And of course, we can answer any questions that you have about this after the webinar. We'll provide you with all of our contact information so you know how to get a hold of us. And then I wanted to introduce our presenter today, Delana Hurst. As you can see, she's very credentialed, and I just wanted to touch on a few highlights for you. Lena was actually a Citrix employee. She worked there for 4 years as a readiness manager. Really what that means is she was responsible for developing a lot of the internal training resources. Some of those resources are still used today internally at Citrix, and also to help develop some of the Citrix content that's available in the authorized Citrix training courses. After Citrix, she had a stint at Juniper also, and then we convinced her that we wanted her to teach full-time for us. And she's been a Citrix instructor for over 10 years. She's very familiar with the XenMobile content. I think she was the first instructor to actually deliver a XenMobile class in North America. And she holds numerous certifications for Citrix and also other vendors. She's absolutely one of the best Citrix trainers in the world. We're very fortunate to have her with us today. I would like to turn the time over to her. It's all yours, Lena.
All right, welcome everyone. So I'm going to get right down to it since we do have a limited time for this webinar, and I want to make sure that I have enough time for the demos that I have planned. So we'll do a very quick high-level overview as to what XenMobile is, what's new with the new XMS server. Everyone has been waiting for this. This is a consolidated methodology of delivering both your security policies as well as your applications within your environment. So we took 2 components and combined it into one. Okay, we'll then very quickly run through what an MDX app and why we would want to use an MDX app, what kind of benefits it gives us to use the MDX technology to wrap our applications in. Again, very briefly, I'll run through the Works apps that Citrix offers, which is one of the, it's combined into the XenMobile offerings depending on which edition you purchase. Then I'm going to walk everybody through the new unified administration console. I'll create both a device level policy as well as an application deployment policy for you so you can see how much easier it is now in 10 than previously if you knew previous versions of XenMobile. Then once again, very briefly, we're going to basically walk you through our share file integration and our gateway integration for the product. So with XenMobile 10, they've improved the experience both for user and IT. So they've basically cleaned it up. It's nice and clean for the user. The user sees what actually looks like a storefront page on their mobile device. They can add their applications in. They automatically get their enrollment taken care of for them with enrollment invitations. So it's one click to enroll and get into the environment. Then again, they can pick and choose which applications are being offered to add to their mobile device to increase their productivity. As far as IT goes, we've got unsurpassed security and control over these mobile devices once they've been entered into our mobility environment. And now we've consolidated all of our administration into a single unified console, making life much, much easier for your IT professionals. Okay, so it is a revolutionary way to mobilize your business, especially now that so many of the companies are doing BYOD, right? So everybody's letting you bring your own iPads in, your own Androids in, get your email, get all that stuff. So now that we are dealing with a variety of different vendors as our target devices, XenMobile is a nice, complete end-to-end security, offering a complete stack for managing and securing all of your applications that you would like to deliver within your environment. Okay, it also provides secure data management. Okay, even to the point that we can, if we're not offering offline access, we can actually store private keys internally in our environment. So even if a device was jailbroken or compromised, they could never decrypt the corporate information that was on that device. Okay, we also offer device management, being able to control what applications, pushing out Wi-Fi configurations, so as your mobile users go from one branch office to another, they're not chasing your IT guys around trying to look for a username and password. Okay, so we have complete control over these mobile devices. So we're going to go ahead and manage and secure data. We offer device encryption and authentication, complete application containerization, and cloud file services with share files. So we get control over everything. We're going to go ahead and manage all applications on the device. Okay, push them down to the device. Basically, we can even set restrictions on them. We can say, for this financial application, you have to be connected to VPN to be able to use it. So we get complete control over how those applications are behaving on the device, as well as we get complete control over application to application communication. So I can basically prevent a user from copying and pasting something out of email onto Facebook, right? Because obviously we don't want that to happen. So we get complete control there. And then, of course, we get complete control of the actual devices themselves. So we have the capacity to enforce a passcode to ensure that our corporate data is safe, disabling cameras. If a device is lost or stolen, we could lock it. We could selectively wipe the device, which means remove just the corporate data while leaving all of the personal data on the device, or we can actually perform a full wipe on the device, in which we would basically take it back to factory defaults. So the new components that we have within the environment, okay, is now, like you see, we have the XenMobile server, both for mobile device management and application management. So this is definitely a huge improvement over previous versions of XenMobile. So now we have a single system that we're working with. We have complete integration with NetScaler Gateway, so that's going to control our security and remote access into our environment. We have a new gateway wizard, which basically allows you to run through a wizard to get yourself connected with the NetScaler Gateway. We have share file integration. You can either do on-premise storage or cloud level storage for all of your data and file management. Okay, and then of course we also have integration with storefronts. Okay, so if you are a Zen App, Zen Desktop house and you want to deliver your Zen App, Zen Desktop resources out to your mobile devices, we fully integrate with Storefront to do that as well, so that we can get our HDX apps aggregated along with our mobile apps and everything else right into the mobile device. So the end user experience, they've done a lot of work on the end user experience. Okay, so we have mail, calendar, everything is very Outlook-like, okay, which means very, very quickly users can pick it up and learn it because they're familiar with Outlook. So it's not a whole new strange thing to learn. So we have some very nice apps that are optimized for business. Of course, we have ShareFile, okay, which gives us the ability to store our documents in the cloud, as well as some really great functionality like being able to, edit them on the fly. So if I am a mobile user, I don't have to download that Word doc, make a change to fix a typo, re-upload that Word doc, and then, send it off somewhere. Now I can just do it right on the fly, as well as I can share documents very easily using links instead of actually having to attach them to emails. We have a unified application store that enables users to run any application, even non-mobile ones. Of course, that would be your HDX apps. Like I said, what's going to look like for the user is basically a storefront page. So then they're going to get in, they're going to say, I want to add an app. They pick from the big list of applications you've made available to them, and they can add them to their mobility devices as needed. Again, we have a nice browser included for at the office intranet browsing within the environment, and it is fully secured so that we're running micro VPN or secure browse level functionality into the environment so that we don't have to worry about people accessing corporate resources from remote locations. We offer end-to-end security. Okay, so we containerize our applications. Okay, we're completely FIPS compliant. We offer single sign-on for applications. We have over 60 policies or options that we can work with our applications. Like I said, you get complete, very granular control. Okay, we have secure access. Okay, so again, no matter what you're doing, you're running your remote access through a NetScaler, which means you are completely secure. You get micro app VPN behavior, so when applications need to communicate into the back end. Okay, so if you set up your Works Mail app, and obviously it needs to talk to your Exchange servers, okay, we ensure that that communication is all secure. We have secure browsers functionality as well. We leverage in certificates. Okay, we have the Dropbox problem solved, okay, with ShareFile. Okay, the Dropbox problem being that we didn't have a full audit trail of what was going on within the environment. Okay, now we will. ShareFile has tons of auditing and control reporting. All of that is available for your IT staff. And then, of course, we have secure device management. We can basically work with iOS, Android, Windows, WinPhone. Okay, we can implement security policies for how those devices behave, configuration policies, so if I needed to deploy certificates for certificate-based authentication in my environment, I could do that right through my security policies, as well as I can implement any access or data policies. Now, some of the new benefits we have with our new administration, so we have unified administration, one policy, multiple platforms. Absolutely awesome. Those of you who had to write policies in previous versions, you know we always started with the target vendor, and then we had to drill down in and pick different restrictions, and it was kind of messy. Now you pick your restriction, and then you pick which vendors you would like to apply that restriction to. So it's totally cleaned up. Okay, additionally, they've added in app ratings. So as users work with different mobile apps that you're offering in your environment, they can actually provide feedback about that application and say, hey, I really like this. This was really easy to use. Okay, so they can do ratings for the applications as well. We have full API for automated administration, power filters within the new console, which basically hide things that you don't do normally and you can add them in. Okay, we have MBAS partnerships or App Accelerator and Any Presence, and of course the other one that everyone was waiting for, role-based access control. Now we always had that on the MDM side, but we did not have that on the application side, and now we have it across the board since it's a single unified console. Okay, so we still have two separate flows against a single server. So here you can see we're going to basically support an external database to store all of the information. There you see your XMS servers pointed into your SQL database. Okay, and as they run through the NetScaler, they're going to be two separate flows, one for the MDM, which is going to be your security flows, as well as one for your applications or your MAM and micro VPN flows. Okay, so they're all going to be operating through the NetScaler into the backend XMS server, and everything is now unified. Okay, we have on-demand Active Directory and global catalog support. We have simple either HA or DR configurations available, unified logging, okay, and of course APIs for automated administration. Again, another huge benefit that we now have, which is totally awesome, self-service. Okay, so I'm just a regular employee and I don't know what I did with my phone. I had it, now I don't, dang it. Okay, I can actually log into a self-service portal and track a lost device. Okay, I don't know what I did with it. I could then choose, I can go, oh my gosh, I left it at the restaurant last night. I can then wipe it, selectively wipe it, or lock it myself. Okay, so I don't have to call IT and bug them, okay, for that type of behavior. I can then, of course, run over to the restaurant, see if it's actually still there, okay, try and recover it, do whatever I need to do. Okay, but we do get the very nice self-service portal. We have automated APNS certificate signing now, new in XenMobile 10. Previously, we had to wait for a support person at Citrix to actually manually sign these certificates, so you know, you had to kind of be 2 steps ahead of the game there. Now you can go ahead and submit it. It will be auto-signed and returned back to you right as you're building your environment. Okay, so some of the new features that we have, unified console, right? Unified management of both devices and apps. We have our corporate application store, all of our mobile application management. We have a unified access gateway and single sign-on, workflow-driven productivity for our applications, military-grade security, mobile content management, as well as very broad platform support. So here's your 3 flavors that XenMobile 10 has. We have the MDM edition, which just gives you basic device and app. Okay, 1 step up is device and app plus XMS application management, and you get the Works suite of applications to download and use if you would like. Finally, the enterprise level edition includes everything from advanced, plus you get all of ShareFile Enterprise. Okay, so what's new in XenMobile 10? There we go. This is just a very quick little, and you know, normally I spend a ton of time on this slide talking about, sorry, my phone's ringing, talking about the differences in architecture that we have. Okay, here you can see the old app controller and the old device manager. Okay, and as you can see, there were, you know, some strong points and some down points of both. That will stop in a second, sorry. And what they did is they took all the best pieces from the app controller and the device management, okay, and they, you know, they maintained the external database, they maintained, you know, certain authentication and application management to combine it into a single unified architecture. Okay, so now we have our external database. We are using Tomcat for all of our web services. It is just a little Linux appliance now, very easy to install. You just go ahead and import it into your Xen server, VMware, Hyper-V, wherever you want it, okay, and fire it up. Okay, so it is a single unified hardened Linux appliance. Okay, we have our nice new streamlined administrative console. We do leverage external databases. We do support an internal database if you're just running a POC, so you can always bring it up, but that obviously would not be recommended for production. Streamlined and unified authentication, and of course, like I said, something we were looking for on the app side was the ability to do role-based access control for locals and groups. You can set different levels of control within the environment. Okay, so now here's again, once again, our new unified architecture, okay, where we have 2 separate flows running through the NetScaler, and then we're load balancing our clustered XMS. We've totally cleaned up clustering. In fact, it asks you right on install if you'd like to cluster them together. It's the easiest thing on the planet. Okay, they're both pointed to the same backend database, so we can easily load balance both of those systems for fault tolerance. Okay, we still have 2 separate flows of work. One is the MDM flow. This is the software that's going to go ahead and secure, monitor, and manage your device lifecycle. Okay, this is they enroll, they get all of their security policies. It handles, all the functions that you see on this slide here: monitoring, configuring, provisioning, securing, supporting, decommissioning. Okay, so that's what the MDM side is, always more of the security side, so you can think of it that way. Okay, so now what we do is, from a security side, we push policies to devices and we enforce them. We can auto-configure, locate, and support a device. We can deploy our applications now. Okay, we can also selectively wipe it. We can block unauthorized or jailbroken devices, and of course, all of this functionality is vendor dependent. Those of you who have worked with it in the past, you know that some of the restrictions that I can do with iOS, I cannot do with Android. That is because those APIs have not been released to Citrix. So it's vendor dependent based on the APIs that the vendor themselves releases back to Citrix. Okay, so now we're moving into a bring your own device world. We all know that, and people bring their own devices in, usually even multiple devices these days. We have full integration with Active Directory so that we can implement group policy-based configurations over the air to users. We can provide help desk functions, remote support, and troubleshooting. We can also do monitoring and reporting, application inventories, device status, compliance status, okay, for any device in our environment. So of course, not only can we do our security policies, we can deploy our applications, we could decommission a device if it was stolen, and we could take, any kind of a security action should we need it. So some example of some popular policies, and I'm sure you guys are aware of these, are passcode policy, basically enforcing that you have some type of a passcode to access the device, maybe a restriction policy to disable the installation of a particular application, disabling the camera, disabling iCloud. Again, we can implement Wi-Fi and VPN policies, so those are automatically configured on the device so users can automatically connect very easily. We offer all applications now onto your mobile devices, so any native applications, iOS, Android, any mobile application would be available to deliver. Any HDX level application would also be able to deliver, so if we have any Zen app or Zen desktop environments. Additionally, we can also deliver SaaS or web apps, and we can provide single sign-on. And not only can we provide single sign-on, I can actually provide account provisioning. So if I provide my mobility environment with an account that has permissions to create a new Salesforce user in Salesforce, that can all be automated. So when you add a new salesperson to your sales Active Directory group and he goes in and clicks on Salesforce, he's going to automatically get a new account provisioned. It's all single sign-on. Oh, look, it's magic. It's right on his device. Okay, so everything can be completely automated. Okay, one of the ways we secure our devices is through our MDX technology. Okay, MDX allows us to put corporate apps on your personal device, right? Everybody wants to have all of their Facebook and WikiLeaks and all their crazy apps that they love, okay, but we need to put corporate information on there. We need to make sure that it is secure, even though there's the other applications on there. So MDX is how we do that. It's an additional wrapper. You can wrap up third-party applications, or you can wrap up our, WorksMail and WorksWeb and ShareFile. All of those have MDX level capabilities as well. That keeps them completely isolated. It gives us complete application level policies so we can control all data exchange with apps. So I can control cutting, copying, pasting. I can set my document exchange levels. I can control of my inter-app communication policies. Okay, network APIs, whether or not an application can gain access to the network within the environment. So again, MDX gives us actually an additional layer of security. Okay, as I said, when you're using MDX, you can wrap your own. Okay, you just run it through the application tool. Okay, and then it goes ahead and you now have a newly wrapped up MDX application that's going to give you an additional layer of security. So it's going to get encrypted local storage, micro VPN functionality, application-specific lock and wipe. So before with the MDM side, we said we could lock your whole device. Now I can just lock a specific application or wipe something on a specific application, not the entire device. I get complete inter-application communication control, conditional access policies, so you can only access application A if you're connected to the corporate Wi-Fi, and of course single sign-on. And we don't have to recode these mobile apps. We can just wrap them up. If you want to do that, of course you can go get your apps from Citrix.com, okay, as well as, I don't know how huge the screenshot is, but you'll see the MDX toolkit right here at the top. This is where we download the toolkit so that we can wrap our own apps. Okay, once we have the toolkit, whatever type of application it is, we run it through our little application preparation tool and it becomes a .mdx extension. We have either a wizard-based GUI or you have command line tools if you want to batch it all up. Okay, so now very quickly again, I'm going to run through some of the Works apps and then I'm going to get into demoing. So Worksmail, okay, very Outlook-like, supports Active Sync, iOS and Android, nice native experience. Again, you can MDX secure it. Okay, we now have a new triage view. It's much simpler to navigate. The calendar's been redesigned so you can see your complex meetings, and you have a calendar view up to a year. You can also do multiple folder sync, and if you turn it sideways, you get landscape view. Okay, complete active sync policy support, so we can limit email size. Okay, standard exchange stuff there. Okay, additionally, we offer some really cool functionality like join GoToMeeting. Okay, you can see here that we have a little join GoToMeeting right there, or I'm running late option, dial in from events, so you just click the little dial in button instead of having to look down at your phone and attempt to dial a number, possibly while driving, which would be dangerous. Okay, so we have out of office functionality with Worksmail, so if you forgot to put your out of office before you went on vacation, you can go back in through your mobile device and add it. Okay, you can edit an event from Worksmail. Okay, so we have a nice suite of features when it comes to Worksmail. We have a consumer-like browser with Works Web. This should actually say Works Web. I don't know how we got the wrong name on there. So this is Works Web. Secure access to internal, external, and HTML5 web apps, full integration. You also get the option of doing URL whitelisting and blacklisting within your environment, as well as, of course, micro VPN, so everything's secured. Works Notes, another one of our Works apps, syncs your notes up to ShareFile, supports SAML-based authentication, can fully integrate with Exchange and Worksmail. Okay, so you can send associate notes in a meeting, easy to send mail to all group members. Okay, Works Notes requirements, you do have to have a ShareFile account to actually use it because it's using ShareFile to synchronize everything, and then you'll need Exchange, so you have all the calendar access. Okay, so first time you use it, it's going to ask you to log in with your ShareFile account. Once you've done that, okay, then you can see that even within, I'm just creating a new note, I can send a note, forward it as an email attachment. Okay, so again, it just makes life a lot easier with these notes. You can also use photos, okay, record audio, set a reminder, okay, all within Works Notes. Has location services support as well, so it can track locations where notes were taken. Okay, and of course it is completely integrated with ShareFile, so you do see over here, you'll see that just it's automatically synchronizing up to your ShareFile location. Okay, this is Works Desktop. I don't know how the names got mixed up. So this is another Works app. It's called Works Desktop. And on this one, it's basically go to my PC from your mobile app. Okay. It does rely on go to my PC architecture. Okay, now when it comes to working with XenMobile, first time use is super easy now. As you can see, I'm just on my Xen server here. I've imported my little Linux machine. I've powered it on, and it immediately takes me through an FTU menu. It's going to ask me IP address, encryption options, FIPS options, database configuration, clustering, all through this kind of menu-driven CLI, so it's really easy to configure, okay, or to install. All right, now I'm going to actually show you guys the new console, because I know that's why you're here. Hopefully everyone can see the main screen now. Now this is our new unified console. Okay, so you're going to go in, take a look at your new XenMobile. It's all web-based. Again, we're running over Tomcat for this. I get into my dashboard. This is my main landing page, which can be totally customized. Okay, so let's take a look at our configure section. Okay, so this is really, once again, I can now work with both my device policies and my application policies all from one location. I can also create automated actions, and I can set up delivery groups to target device policies and application policies. So probably the first thing you would do is you would go in and you would set a delivery group. You can go in and add a new one. I'm fully integrated with Active Directory right now. Okay, I've already added my LDAP server into this environment. You'll notice this is just wizard driven. Okay, and here it says, okay, there's my domain, and this is great because we have this great little search feature. Okay, where I can go, I'm not really sure. Oh, look, there it found it, training.lab.engineers. You'll notice we have the and or operators here as well to create our delivery groups. And then we can add in policies, apps, or actions. So this would be device level policies, deployment of applications, or automated actions. I'm going to skip those right now because we're going to add those in just a minute. You can add those later as well. And then I can go ahead and save. So now I have my delivery group, which is going to be my target that I'm going to do my deployment to. One other thing I want to show you before we get over to the creating device policy and application policies is under settings. Here we see once again that role-based access control. I can get in and I can give people different levels of access within the environment to do different things. So we have admin, device provisioning, support, and user level access within our environment. These are the roles that are available, and you can totally customize that. So let's start with a little device policy right here. As you can see, I don't have any. Super easy to create. Okay, now the first thing it wants you to do is to decide what type of policy you're adding. You'll notice that it defaults to some pretty standard ones here. Things like restrictions or Wi-Fi, location services if I want to do tracking. Additionally, we have a whole bunch more. Okay, so this is again that filtering capability where it's not really necessarily showing me everything. I'm just going to do a little restriction policy. Okay, now again, like I said, this is great because now I can focus on the restriction instead of my vendor, right? So I start out with I want a no camera restriction. Okay, the next thing you'll notice is we have the option of selecting which platforms. Okay, so I can either choose to provide this for multiple platforms or for one platform, but you'll notice they're all in the same spot, and I'm starting with the restriction. Okay, so here on iOS, I'm going to go, oh, hey, you know what, I don't want the camera. I'm going to turn that off. Okay, and you can see again, there's tons of restrictions that we have. It's all based on whatever the vendor APIs, whatever they gave us. So there's lots of different things we can do inside here. I can say, well, I don't want to deploy this to Samsung or Windows, maybe Amazon. Okay, we'll see what we've got here. I don't know if this one actually has a camera one or not. It doesn't. So we'll turn that off. Okay, so here we have, we're just going to deploy it to our iOS devices, our no camera restrictions. Okay, then of course we can target our delivery group that we just created. Okay, so that my engineers get no camera. Okay, and then that's how difficult it is to create a device policy. So like you saw, it's super, super easy to get in there and create a new device policy. Everything has been consolidated into this one unified console. So not only can I take away your camera, I can also deploy an application. So if I wanted to go in and add an app, okay, and deploy an application, I can do the same thing. Once again, we're going to go ahead and target these applications with MDX, web or SaaS apps, just a web link, something from the public application store, or an enterprise level app. So we're going to go ahead and just do an MDX app that we want to add in. Okay, again, you'll notice that immediately now these vendors are all available in the same location. So I can call this WorksMail. Okay, and then of course I would browse out to my WorksMail MDX file. And for iOS, and I would come down to my WorksMail, open it. Okay, and I get all these different options, descriptions, versions, minimum. Okay, any excluded devices. Okay, you can add in additional MDX type policies down here. Again, you can see the level of granular control that you get for this application as you move through. So again, we get very, very granular control. I want to do WorksMail on Android as well, so I'm going to go ahead and upload the Android version. There it is. Okay, same thing. Because it is MDX, you'll notice I get all of these fantastic abilities to control cut and copy, document exchange, blocking of cameras or screen captures. Okay, so again, tons of options inside here. Okay, I'm not going to do Windows Phone. I don't have those for MDX right now. So then we'll say next. This takes me to approvals. This is for workflow approval. So if I needed to ensure that a manager approved this application prior to it being installed on a mobile device, I could add in a little workflow right here. Then of course I can target my delivery group to receive this application. Okay, and there we have WorksMail. Okay, so that's, I just wanted to give you a quick little look at the new console and how easy it is to do everything. Of course, we also fully support automated actions, which are triggered under certain conditions. So if I set up a geofence, I could trigger my devices to selectively wipe if there was a geofence perimeter breach. Okay, so things along those lines. So that'll take me out of my demo, and then I'll just hop over and we'll go ahead and finish, and then we'll take some time to do questions. All right, of course we have full support for ShareFile. Like I said before, ShareFile, we can set up our storage zones and our storage zone connectors. ShareFile is an awesome resource for getting files or controlling files and data. Storage zone connectors will actually allow you to pull in your share file or any file share that you have within your environment, so you don't have to re-architect your file sharing within your world. You can just add it into your share file environment. Again, you could spend a whole week just on all the features and things you can do with ShareFile. Some of the nice key features for end users, which is really great, is synchronization tools, plugins for Outlook, Windows Explorer, Mac Finder. Of course, we support large files. I love the built-in mobile content editor. Again, I don't have to download, make a change, re-upload. Okay, I can just do it on the fly. Okay, so you can basically, users can manage their own personal settings. Okay, ShareFile basically allows you to share files via a link, as well as providing audit trails and centralized administrative control. Okay, and for every mobile device out there, there is an app. Okay, so it does enable your mobile work styles. Users can put it on, we have the mobile site. They can put it on iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, Windows 7 or 8 phone, iPad. Okay, so yeah, so they can basically do offline access and editing. We have built-in mobile editor, PDF annotation on the go. Okay, so it's very, very easy for users, and it's very friendly. Okay, last thing I want to show you, and then I'll show you kind of a demo enrollment, which I just captured because it takes too long to try and do a demo style for a webinar. Of course, is our complete integration with NetScaler. Okay, so now we're going to be able to use the NetScaler, either an appliance or a virtual appliance, to provide secure access into our corporate environment. Okay, the upside is, oh look. Okay, now when I want to go in and configure my NetScaler to work with my XenMobile environment, I have the XenMobile wizard. I select what version of XenMobile I would like to use, and I click Get Started, and it walks me through how to set up my environment. So if you're not as familiar with the NetScaler, okay, it will help you get your environment completely set up. What we do in the wizard is we set up the NetScaler gateway. This is going to be used for work store as well as SSL VPN access. We can choose to load balance our XenMobile servers. Okay, so then we can set up load balancing for redundancy. Okay, we can choose to load balance our Microsoft Exchange servers. Of course, that is optional, but if we wanted to, the wizard will help you with that, as well as load balance your share file storage zone controllers. Also optional, but available directly through the wizard. Okay, so now the last thing we're going to take a look at is what it looks like when a user actually enrolls. Typically, you would send them an enrollment invitation either via email or SMS, and they would simply click the link. Here you can see my iPad. Yes, that is my dog, Dalton. Okay, and I went ahead and I downloaded Works Home, which is going to be the application that I use to do enrollment. Okay, once I click on Works Home, okay, normally I would just enter my email address here as a user, but in this case I just entered the public FQDN that I have for the environment. Okay, then it says, oh, would you like to enroll? Yes. I enter in my username and password to sign on. Okay, it then starts to pull down profiles. Okay, so it pulls down the certificate authority information. Okay, and the user can click through, select to install the profile service. Okay, yes, I would like to install this profile. Again, we get through to what we're installing. Okay, and here is what it ends up looking like for the user. Now they're in Works Home, and they see what looks like a storefront page, right? That's exactly what that looks like. They want to say, oh, I want to add a new application. Well, at that point, any applications that are available within the environment show up, and they can select, I want Works Mail, I want Works Web, okay, I want whatever application I'm interested in. Again, if there were a workflow associated with this application, it might require manager approval prior to them actually getting it. Okay, in this case, I selected that I wanted Adobe Reader, so I went ahead and added it in, and then my new work store looks like this, where I have my Adobe Reader ready to go and use. Of course, we don't forcibly install applications on mobile devices. I don't know how much drive space you have. Okay, so we let users select. You can forcibly install them if you want, if it's a corporate requirement, but obviously we would keep that relatively limited. Okay, here you can see that it is forcibly installing Works Web and Works Mail. You can see the little loading icon as it connects in and installs it right to my desktop here in my environment. Okay, and then over here, you can see that this is my pre-camera restriction. So here's my iPad, and then I also received a policy that was restricting the camera. So there's the before and after. There was the camera. Now the camera is gone. It's missing off of the system. Okay, so enrollment, pretty easy. Like I said, we're enforcing not only device policies, but also application level delivery and all of the monitoring and reporting and control that you would need for a complete mobility solution. Okay, so this takes us to the end, and I guess now we can do questions. I don't know if there is any.
Hey, Lena. Thank you. I had to figure out how to unmute myself.
There
We
you
do,
go.
yeah, we do have several questions actually. So I'm gonna run down the list here, and if for some reason we run out of time and we don't get to your question, we will reply to your question via email. Okay, but we'll try to get through these. Okay, so the first question, Lena, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, can XenMobile 10 be set up in a GSLB configuration spanning multiple data centers?
Absolutely, and we love it when we do it that way.
Okay, perfect. And then this question says, do I need all the certs for POC?
You'll need your APNS cert for a POC. Outside of that, you can use internal certs, but obviously be aware you're going to see the whole, trust the certificate button every single time you get in. The only one you're really going to need is the APNS for Apple devices, but you will have to have that one prior to a POC. Otherwise, your devices won't enroll.
Okay, great. Okay, can XMS servers be virtual servers?
They are.
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
So they are just little virtual machines.
And is active sync required for HDX mail app?
Not required, but you can do it. It's supported.
Okay. Going down the list here, we have quite a few. So okay, does WorksMail allow for restricting the hours of access?
Yes.
Okay. Does XenMobile work with Chromebook? Or does it support Chromebook?
That I don't know. I would have to double check that one. So send that one to me in an email, Rich, and I'll respond to that one. I'll just check with the engineers.
You got it.
I'm not sure. I haven't used it yet.
Okay. Can you show targeting a device policy differently for corp-owned versus BYOD devices in case the user has both?
Right, and that's just a flag that we set. And when you have your devices or you enroll your devices within the environment, you can set it to be, and that's part of the invitation. So when I go to send you an email invitation and it's a BYOD device, I can say it's an email invitation, this is a BYOD. Or if I'm just enrolling corporate devices and I'm doing it via SMS or whatever, I can select at the time I create the invitation, I say this is corporate owned and we can treat them entirely different. They're flagged differently and very easy to use. So that's actually included in the invitation. Now you can't reuse the same invitation. So if I had a user that had like 3 different devices, 1 corporate and 2 personal, I'd have to send them 3 separate invitations. And part of the reason is that flag. Okay, so when they click on it, it automatically tells the device whether it's corporate owned, whether it's BYOD, and we can basically enforce entirely different policies based on that.
Okay, excellent. Okay, I'm going to try my best on this one. Can the policies be set so that the enforced can use this, can't use that, gets dropped upon leaving the corporate network? So like, for example, I guess when they get home, they can use whatever they want.
Sure, sure. If I had restrictions on personal applications like Facebook or WikiLeaks, then when they went home and they were no longer connected to the corporate Wi-Fi, they would have access to those again. Or even if they just turned off the, say, corporate applications. As long as I wasn't using a specific corporate application, I would have access to them again. It's all very, very granular, but you can do that, yes.
Okay. Okay, our XenMobile 9 was installed in the DMZ and our app controller was installed in the inside network. Since XenMobile 10 now contains both MDM and app controller, should we install it in the DMZ again?
You can, but you're going to have a NetScaler. I put the NetScaler and the DMZ and the XMS internally because it's going to have access to that backend SQL server. So you're going to have a lot more access moving between the XMS server and other backend resources. So I'd actually move it back in and let the NetScaler be your edge device in the DMZ.
Okay, great. Since we have time, I'm going to keep going. We have a few more questions. When do we expect Windows 10 mobile support? The presentation mentioned Windows 7 mobile.
Yeah, that was the typo. We're full into Windows 8 for the support that we have now. I know it's on the roadmap and scheduled for release, but I don't know exactly what the date is. I can double check with Jessica. She would know the roadmap stuff. So again, just send that one to me and I'll fire off an email to Jessica. She's the product manager over there on XenMobile.
Okay, great. What functionality do you lose when you pick no at the enrollment screen and you use MAM only, MAM only?
Oh, so you want only applications. So you would lose all of your security functionality. So you wouldn't be able to do like a camera restriction for the whole device, but you would be able to do a camera restriction for a specific application. So it's just the difference between what we do for security policies, geolocation services, geofences, deployment of certificates. All of that is MDM level functionality, so all of that would go away because you're only doing applications.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, what else here? Can you get MDM Basic and upgrade to Enterprise later? How would that work?
Yes, you can. And it's just, I think it's a licensing thing. Opens up the functionality.
Okay. Okay, a couple of more. When users bring their own device, when you remove the camera, does it remove it from the user's device or just disable it?
It actually doesn't, well, physically it can't remove the camera because it's on the device. It does remove the icon though. So yeah, that obviously would not be one that I would necessarily do unless it was a corporate owned device. Because that would just be mean.
Okay. Okay, are there any mobile printing solutions?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
AirPrints for iOS. There's lots of different mobile printing solutions. And you can control them. You can disable AirPrint or turn it back on as far as restrictions go.
okay. Okay, so for manager approval, does the manager get an email with the request that
Yes.
that allows certain functions? Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's a link, and it can either be, so one of the funny things about XenMobile is you do want to make sure your Active Directory is configured properly, because it actually figures out who your manager is based on that parameter in Active Directory. Or if you're worried that your managers aren't going to approve or click those links as they come, you can actually just set a designated approver and provide that information when you set up your workflow. But yeah, it actually extracts that information from Active Directory. So as long as the manager field is populated within Active Directory, that's where it gets that information from.
Okay, great. Is it necessary to deploy a schedule policy for policy Androids?
Yes, absolutely. Androids do not regularly check in, so you 100% of the time must have a schedule or policy, so that tells the device how often to check back into the XenMobile environment.
Okay. Okay, this next question. With passcode enforcement, does it allow all security options a phone allows, or is it just a PIN or a password?
It allows all security options. So if it's a pattern, I believe we have all the biometric stuff in there now. I'd have to double check for each individual vendor, but most of it, I'm pretty sure most all of it is supported.
Okay, great. Okay, a couple of more and we're almost out of time. Can devices be flagged as corporate owned or BYOD during a non-invitation based enrollment of Works Home? If so, how is it different than with an invitation-based enrollment?
So we typically do it via invitation because it's just easier, but if not, you can always go back in and flag it under devices. So the device is enrolled, and then I can go ahead and turn that flag on or off
Okay.
after it's already in the environment.
Okay, great. Okay, someone's asking if there's a way to demo XenMobile or test it before purchasing. And so Lena, you used to work for Citrix. I'm sure with a Citrix partner, they could probably figure out a way to do some sort of proof of concept or something like that, do you think?
Yeah, and your sales guys should all have access to, there is a complete soft layer demo environment that they can provision for you that has all the components already set up, and then it just kind of gives you like a web page that has all the IPs and passwords for all the different components, so you can get in and play around with it. Yeah, your sales guys should have access to that, and they can provision it for you and put a length of time. It's just a virtual soft layer provision, and then you would just log in and play around with it, enroll your device. When you do it via this portal, because I have used the portal in the past, it's really easy. All the public IPs are already registered, so you can, practice enrolling devices. You can practice any number of different things. But yeah, it is definitely available, and your sales guys should be able to give you access to it. I'm sure partners get access to it. They actually have them for every product, not just XenMobile, but I actually really do like the XenMobile one because there's a lot of components to play around with when it comes to XenMobile. You've got the gateway, the Exchange servers, the XenApp server, you know what I mean? So it actually is a completely built environment, and then you can just mess around with it.
Okay, great answer. And if you don't already work with a Citrix partner, or you don't know who to contact, you can send me an email, and I can connect you with with a platinum Citrix partner that can help you out. Okay, we are out of time. There's a couple more questions we couldn't get to, but we will follow up with you via email. And on behalf of Layer 8 and on behalf of Lena, again, I want to thank you for joining our webinar, for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I also want to thank Lena. It was a great presentation with tons of information. We look forward to hopefully seeing you in a class in the future. If you have any questions, not just related to training, but any of your Citrix products, we're pretty well connected in the industry, so we can certainly help you out and get you steered in the right direction, and we'd be happy to do that. So this concludes the webinar. We'll send out a link to the recording of the webinar so you can watch it again or forward it to coworkers and friends. And please stay tuned for more announcements from us on future webinars. We plan to do a webinar a month on various topics. Thanks again, and this concludes the webinar. Have a great day.